So it's finally here, boys and girls. Today we're going to build this gigantic castle wall. We'll leave the castle itself for the moment because that is just too much building for one video. To rate this building, I would say that this is like a 4-star difficulty level. There is just so much detail here. If you're serious about building this, make sure that you have all the material shown here. I try to keep this as basic as possible so you won't have any problems finding the blocks. And since this build is rather big and long, I have broken it down to steps into 7 days, with each day building something different. That way you can enjoy building while still enjoy the game. So let's jump right into it. So for day 1, we're going to build up the grass and outline for this massive wall. The build is approximately 80 blocks wide and 100 blocks tall. You can just ignore these gold blocks here that I used to measure the land. So to start this off, we'll need a starting point. So run to the lower left hand corner and start counting 38 blocks across and 11 blocks up. Now place a gold block here, and this is our starting point. Since the castle wall is quite large, I have broken down the blueprints in parts so that it will be easier to follow. We'll start building the front of the wall right above the gold block here. We want 12 blocks of stone bricks extending to the left side. From the gold block again, count 4 blocks up, and on the 5th block, start building another line of wall 12 blocks across. Now before we move on each corners of the wall, place a gold block as a marker there. This marker is extremely important because you will need this to build the rest of the wall. So now that you got the wall and you got the marker, you simply need to follow the rest of the blueprint here and build the wall one section at a time. See the gold marker here? They connect it to the front wall you just built. So the first block is already done, just follow along to finish the rest of the pattern. And one more thing, if you make a mistake, don't panic. Just remove the blocks up until the gold marker point and start over again. Understand? I'm just going to fast forward the build a little bit. If you need more time, just pause the video and look at the blueprints. So if you have followed the whole process all the way through, your outline should look something like this, and we can move on to building the details of the castle wall. And that's the end of day 1. So now we're on day 2, we're going to build the castle tower, which is the triangular corner you see here. We will build this once, and after, you will repeat this process on another 7 towers. Cool? Let's do this. So step 1, build up the walls 9 blocks high. And then we'll place pine stairs on the base of the tower in this pattern. To complete this unique pattern on the wall, we're going to dig a hole inside the wall that is 5 blocks high and 5 blocks wide. Start from the center column, and then 2 columns to the left, and 2 columns to the right. So now you should see a big hole on the wall. Starting from the last column, we built 2 stone blocks side by side. I used a gold block to show you where to place these blocks. I figured that this is the easiest way to explain this. Do that on each corner of the hole that we just dug out. Switch to your pine stair block. We're going to start adding different colors to the build. On each corner, we want upside down stairs on the top and right side up stair on the bottom. For the front gold blocks, we want stairs facing away from each other. Again, replace these gold blocks with stone stairs. For this part, we need to jump inside of tower for a bit. We need to place 3 stone bricks on each side to cover any gaps created by the stairs block. See how the pattern is starting to close on its own? Right next to the stairs, put a stone brick there. And then 1 more stone brick for the front. Notice how there is only 3 blocks of space left here? Place neon blocks inside, and that will be the center focus of the tower. I use cyan because it matches the orange that I am wearing. If you want to use a different color glow, use that instead. And the last thing we need to do is add a little bit of extra detail on the last column here. Break the 3 blocks from the wall and replace it with stone stairs on top and bottom. And don't forget to cover any gaps you see behind the walls. Oh, and one last thing before I forget. The neon blocks don't actually produce light, they just glow. We need to create some artificial light by placing wall lights behind the wall, so it's gonna shine through to the front. That way at nighttime, it looks like it has lights. So what you're seeing here is only one side of the wall. Now you have to do the same thing for the other side. When it is all said and done, you need to build this 7 times for each corner of the castle wall, and that's only the first part. For the second part, we'll finish the tower's platform and the garden walls. So jump onto the roof and start filling out the floor. 1 block down from the top is where we want the floor to start, and just cover the entire space of it. For the walls on the edge, right now it is a bit too small to be called a wall. You're gonna get shot down by the enemy like this. So we need to raise the wall up just a little bit. To do that, we're gonna make another edge 1 block away from the top. And then make it 2 blocks high. And before we move on to the other side, place some slabs on top for decoration. And for the final parts of the detailing, we have to jump outside the tower for a bit and remove 2 blocks where the gold block is. And just like in part 1, you simply replace the gold block with what you see here. So for now, we're done with the outside. So jump back into the top and finish off the rest of the detail. Neon blocks in the middle and surround it with stone bricks. One bit of detail is this single break on each side, very important, and then pine stairs and slab for the finishing touch. Now go back outside of the tower just a little bit. Sorry if I'm making this much more complicated than it really is. Drop down a bit to add extra color to the bottom of the wall. And for the remainders of the detail, we use pine fence and starlight to make it glow. And we're done with the outside details. For the inside, there are unfinished details everywhere. Fill in the rest of the details you see here. And then you have to replicate all of this onto the other side of the wall. Now this whole tower is officially finished. Repeat this whole step until all 8 towers look the same, and that's the end of day 2. Now we're on day 3, we will connect the 2 towers together to form the 4 corners of the wall. This part is way easier than the towers previously. I got a blueprint here showing you exactly how high the wall is going to be. Wherever you see a number, that's the total number of blocks you will need. So if I freeze the video here, this is 8 blocks high, this is 7 blocks high, and this is 6 blocks. This pattern is going to make this corner look like a turn going down and up again, rather than a typical castle that is flat, which is no good. Once you have the walls up, finish it with pine stairs and slabs, and we're good to go. And one more thing, the blueprint doesn't really show these stone stairs here, so make sure you put them there. Next, we'll build the platforms and stairs. Start at either ends of the tower and break the first 3 blocks and replace it by stairs. Every time you place stairs going downward, the platform afterwards will be 1 block below it. Kinda makes sense, right? So go through the rest of the blueprint to complete the platform. Now before we go into full decoration mode and finish off the rest of the build, I suggest that you build all 4 corners first. It just makes the building process much easier when you know exactly how to build it. So go ahead and do that first. Now that you're done with the 4 corners, we can now finish it with the rest of the detail. We'll start with this diagonal wall that looks a bit too dull. We're going to remove 3 blocks vertically and 7 blocks wide, making a big hole in the wall. Notice how there is 4 blocks that is dangling downward right here. We're going to use this to extend it downward from the back so that it will be an indent on the wall. And as for the 2 holes on each side, we're going to make it glow and make it extra special. The gold block is there as a guide, so replace it with some stone breaks there. And right in front of it, we need stone stairs in this particular pattern. You'll see in a minute how the glow will turn out. And right next to the stair, place 3 neon blocks there. And finally, the same stair pattern right next to the neon blocks to finish it. See how this looks? It looks like this because the stair blocks leaves gaps. In this case, it is showing a small portion of the neon block, making it look like there is 3 sources of light when there is only 1. Now do this again for the other side. For the indented part, we're going to start replacing these gold blocks with plants, lights, and diamond blocks. So the first thing we need to do is to remove the middle blocks. For the bottom, we're going to put a diamond block, and for the top, we're going to put a star light. And for the 2 sides, replace them with stone stairs. And then finally, at the base of the wall, we need more color than just gray and cyan. The center 4 blocks are going to be turned into a garden with bamboo blocks and hedges on top. If you cannot get normal hedges, just use all hedge plants. Hedge is a Roblox item, so you might not have them. The other 2 blocks on the side, turn it into pine slabs. And we're done with the first part of the decoration. So now that you got the diagonal part details finished, we still got the 2 flat tiles here on the side. That looks kind of weird, which is all gray. Let's break the walls down right at the middle, 6 blocks high, and start filling it with details. On the top and bottom, use stairs to transition inward. And then fill the hole with stone bricks, again to create an indent. On each side of the wall, we'll break 3 pieces off and use pine stairs to separate the gray color. If you see gaps, just fill it with bricks. The last thing we need is a place to hang our kingdom banners. We'll set up a ledge here because why not, right? At the foot, we can remove the gold markers now and add more pine stairs. Now repeat this same steps on the other side and all 4 corners of the castle. You are officially done with day 3's build. Day 4, wow! You're finally halfway through the build. In this section, we're going to connect the front corner to the back. So let's deal with the curvy outline first. Same as the corner wall, they are all different heights, so follow the blueprint here. Again, decoration on top, except with only pine slabs. The platform is relatively basic, it is 3 levels deep, very straightforward, nothing fancy. So this is the finished piece and this is what it looks like. Just remember you need to do this 3 more times on each side of the wall. And as for this middle section here, this whole section is 5 blocks high with slabs on top. And for the platform, just continue where the stairs left off and you're done with the first part. Now we can start decorating the inner walls. Whatever gold blocks you see here, break it and put neon blocks inside. At the very top, put 1 stone stairs to smooth out the edges. Next, the 2 diagonal blocks here, we're going to make an indent on this. For decoration, we put bamboo blocks at the foot of the wall and fill it with hedges. On the indent itself, add some plants and lightings. And that's it. Very simple. As for the flat face of the wall here, I want to add a tiny garden here with some banners. I'm not going to talk much in this because you have already seen a lot of these patterns before. You just need to repeat them again on different parts of the castle. Here comes the fun part, turning the last bit of the wall into fancy decoration. Now before we start, there's a few things we need to break, and it's the slab on top of the wall which is sitting right behind the golden blocks right now. The single block in the middle is for the ladder for you to climb up and down from. While the other two openings on each side, we're going to build a custom lamppost that goes straight to the top of the wall. And this is all for the inner side of the wall. Now let's go to the outer side of the wall. We're going to need to do some work there as well, which isn't as complicated as the inner wall itself. This flat side here needs to be reworked. Start with a gold block here. That's going to show us the starting point. From there, you just carve out an indent into the wall. Place 2 blocks inside of the wall and add neon blocks all the way at the back, 4 blocks high. And then just cover up the rest of the hole with stone bricks. Add some pine snares at the bottom. And hedge plants for the coloring. For the top part, I'm just going to keep things very simple here because not many people actually walk around outside of the wall. There is another spot with this decoration on the other side of the castle as well, so don't forget about that. In the middle of the wall, we have the same custom lamppost that you saw on the other side. The only difference is there is no ladder climbing up because you don't want people entering the castle from the outside, just in case that there are enemies, right? At the base here, I'm using the smaller hedge. You can use berry bush instead if you don't have them. And for added detail, I broke down 3 pieces of the wall and turned it into neon just to make the wall look more interesting. And for the diagonal part here, it is the exact same thing on the inner walls. The last bit of detail for the outer wall is just plants and hedges. And that's it! Do it for the other side, and this is the end of day 4. Day 5. We have come a long way in building up this castle wall. We only have the front and back wall to do and we're finished. So let's get this done quickly so I can go to sleep. I'm really tired. We're going to go to the back wall first. So the standard protocol for building this, we're going to build up the walls first. Build out the details on the top. And then adding the floors. So your back wall should look something wavy like this. When you walk on it, it goes up and down. Now before we move on to the next step, switch one of the stone bricks here to a neon block. So now that you got the walls built up, let's jump down to the inner walls with this giant wall as our canvas. We're going to make an indent right in the center here. Use the decoration at the top here as your guide. The indent is going to be 7 blocks wide and 6 blocks high. Then just fill in the back. Drop a neon block in the center and add stairs on the corner edge. So it looks like an eye. It is looking at you right now. So to quickly fill out the details, we're going to build 4 lampposts across the wall. The first one is going to be on the edge where the floating gold block is, and just start building. Here is one important detail. You have to put a wall light inside of the lamp because again, neon light doesn't produce light. And if you want this light to shine, you need to put a lamp inside. So this one is finished. The second one is obviously on the other side of the wall. The third and fourth is just 1 block next to the eye. When you are finished, almost half the space will be taken. Now we have to deal with the 2 empty spots here. Another indent into the wall that is 7 blocks high and 3 blocks wide. For the bottom and the top, we use stone bricks to smooth out the transition. And then fill in the back wall. Easy peasy, although it still doesn't look appealing enough to be called a castle. So let's add some hanging banners and plants to break up the colors. Now it is starting to look better. For the eye, in comparison to the other decorations around, it looks like it is missing something. Starting at the gold block, we're going to build a tiny wishing pool. Break all of the grass inside and turn it into stones. Then just fill the inside with water. Now I prefer the water to be all level here, so I added a bucket in each block. Then cap the pool with slabs. So if you haven't noticed by now, all of the details I built are very tiny. When you have a lot of them, they make really good looking decorations when they put together. To balance off the build, we're going to edit the bottom here. This place is more like the backyard of your home, so there should be more garden stuff than the front castle. So here is 2 stone guards, and we're going to replace the stairs at the back to make room for the tiny garden. See the gap here? Fill only 1 block in the middle, and the rest becomes the garden bed. Notice how I left a hole here? I figured that it would be much more interesting to use this space for something more elegant, so I put a lamppost inside and surround it with seagrasses. Now this looks super classy for whatever reason, almost like a painting. And the final thing we're going to do with the back wall is to eliminate this flat spot here. Jump to the top and remove 3 slabs from the middle and just follow the gold block instruction. So now that this is done, we need to copy this whole thing to the back wall. This is going to save us a lot of time because the outer wall is relatively easy and it looks about the same. So here is the inner wall. And here is the outer wall. The final step is to build up the outer wall. Now I doubt many people will visit the back here, so the decoration will be kind of basic. We're going to build an artificial gate that looks like a real gate, but it is not. So this gate will be 8 blocks high and 7 blocks wide. We're not making an indent here, we are going to make 1 block extrusion actually. So I'm just going to dig out the part that we need to pull out for the frame of the gate. On the inner edge, just smooth it out a little bit with stairs. And on the footing, put some pine so people know that there is something here. For the corners of the gate, smooth things out again. And right in the middle here, remove this block and we're going to add a different color neon block. Now I choose light green because it goes with cyan. If you are using another color, you're gonna have to experiment a little to see what other color will fit into this little tiny box here. Then cover the top with slabs. At this point, I basically have like no clue what I'm doing anymore and just putting random stuff around just to make it look cool. However, I did remove the floor here to make this look more like a real gate that people can walk in. And voila, this is what this artificial gate looks like. I kind of make it look like greenish because I wanted this to look more like an entrance to a wizard island. Now once I have this one door, now put this door on the other side of the wall. And for the final touch of detail, put some neon blocks into the wall. And this is the end of day 5. So if you look at the castle wall now, it is almost finished. The only thing that is left is the front wall, which hopefully by now you think that this build is actually easier than it looks. One more time, we built up the walls. However, there is some minor adjustment to the front. We need to add this vertical section here, and you're ready to build it up. But the decoration at the top is a little bit different. We're making the edge larger so it's sticking out a little bit. Follow the gold block and build another edge. The good news is the 4 sides of the wall is the same, so you just need to know how to build one side and you can have all 4 sides finished. And as for the platform, we just make one flat surface starting from the corner tower. Now here comes the tricky part. Well, not really, it was tricky when I recorded this part. The gold block made it much easier. So for now, just replace the gold block with stone bricks. See this really awkward pattern here? We're going to break the floor and elevate it upward so the whole floor don't just look flat. To finish it, just add some stairs in between. Now the transition looks a lot better. At the end of the wall here, there is going to be a bridge that connects the 2 sides together, but for now we just add a portion of the stairs here. It will all make sense once we start building the bridge. And then replace the bricks with stairs so the whole entire platform will look like it's kind of sinking inward, but it's actually not. Now for the topping with the pine. Now we're not going to cover the whole top with slabs. Leave these 3 blocks open like this, and this is going to be for the rest of the decoration. And that's it for now. Let's jump down to the ground and just pick any side of the wall, and we're going to start adding some little bit details there. We'll start building these lampposts on each side, the same one you see at the back. The gold block is the position, and you basically just build around it. Now of course you can get rid of the gold markers on the ground now since most of the build is almost finished. The gap between the lampposts here needs to be indented. I marked all the blocks in gold, 3 blocks high and 5 blocks wide. Break all of them down and remove 1 block out right in the middle here. Then just seal the whole wall up. And add stone stair blocks to the corner. At the front where the middle gap is, we'll turn it into this tiny water hole, I can say. Like, I don't have any words to describe it really. It's not a pond and it's not like a pool or anything. Basically just a spot for watering the plants next to it. And that's all the work we're doing here on the ground. And as for the rest of the details, we're gonna do it in midair. Starting with the ledge here, nothing complicated, just a neon block with some supports. For the last bit of details where I said don't cover these 3 blocks with slabs, again, follow the gold blocks instruction. And now that you have completed this, you have to repeat this same process for the other 3 sides of the wall. And finally, the last place we need to decorate is this tiny gap between the door. It's a tight spot and you really want this to look really good because everyone will be walking through it. First, we'll add a little bit to the edge of the wall so it looks like it is finished and not just blocky. For the gap inside, remove 2 blocks from the side and turn this area into a mini garden. And finally, right in the middle, we're going to make an indent for the neon blocks. Then finish it off with a wall light at the top. And one last thing we need, which might not make sense right now, is this pine stair here. It is actually part of the bridge that we're going to build. If you got all of this down, day 6 is finally done, which means the only thing left is the bridge. Okay, finally we're in day 7. Oh my god, I'm really proud of you whoever reached the very end of this video. I didn't really think that anyone would be still watching. If this is you, drop me a comment below. I want to know who this is. Since this is a rather small build, there is no blueprint for the outline, so you just have to watch carefully. And that's it, this is the bridge. The gap here, don't connect it because this will become some part of decoration in the future. For the stairs, you can start on either side of the wall. And we're finished with the stairs. Now before we do anything else, put some slabs on these spots. And finally, we can start building the centerpiece. It's better that you stand outside to do this so you don't have to move your cameras around a whole lot. From here, you can basically just follow the gold blocks instruction until the whole face is finished. Moving on to the inside, we just need to edit one straight line across. The middle 3 block is stairs, and the other 2 blocks is a brick. And cover this hole here with a slab. And then add some green plants around to make the scenery more lively. Just one last thing that I forgot to add on the outside is the starlight right underneath the hedges. Now copy this whole thing to the other side and the whole top is finished. There's one more thing that we need to do. Jump down to the bottom where everything seems to be gray. We're going to build some wooden supports to make this look a little bit more believable. And one last thing for the bridge. It's your kingdom banner. Gotta show your enemy not to mess with this castle. And that's it! Oh my god! Yeah, finished the castle wall from start to finish. And if you took the advice and built this over the next 7 days, this should be relatively easy to build. Doing this all in one day is just too much work and most of us don't even have the time for it. And even for me, it took me almost a month to do this. So thank you boys and girls for watching and the patience to watch this all the way through. And if you have followed the instructions, built this, show me a picture and see how this turned out for your island. And I'll see you next time when I build the castle inside of the walls. Take care everybody.